Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're doing well. Today I want to share with you my entire fountain pen collection. I actually started my fountain pen journey as an adult a little bit over a year ago, and I enjoy the writing experience very much. It almost makes my journaling habit more like a ritual. While I do not have the biggest collection out here, I love every one of them for different reasons. Each pen has its own story, a memory, or a special place in my heart. So without further ado, let's get started. I want to go through my collection chronologically by the time I acquired them. I feel like this way you will also have an idea of my journey, how I started and how it's going. And let's start with this one. This is a Lamy Safari in matte black color with a fine nib. And this is how it all got started. Technically, I don't own this pen. My partner got this over 2 years ago from Amazon, and at that time we both thought it was too much to pay $30 for a pen. Little did we know. I don't remember why he wanted a fountain pen in the beginning, but at that time, even as a non-fountain pen user, I've heard about lamy. So he started with this. It came with a black cartridge, and when I first used it, I did not like the experience at all. But to be fair, at that time I was using spiral bound notebook and copy papers, and I was comparing the writing experience with a gel pen, and it was too broad and too watery for me. Also, before using fountain pens, I use mainly gel pen or ballpoint pens for my daily notes, so I prefer the finer lines when I first started using fountain pens. My preference has since changed a little, but we'll talk about that later. So overall, I did not have the best experience with this pen. And I thought if this is how all fountain pens write, I'd never pick up another one again for myself. So that's this lamy. Then I got this. This is a Sailor Fude fountain pen. The Fude nib is bented like this with a 55-degree angle. And I got this simply for sketching purpose. At that time, I just started doing urban sketching, and I saw a couple of artists who are using this as a sketching tool, and I was fascinated by the line width of the strokes you can get. So I got this along with a bottle of Noodler's waterproof ink, which is also my first bottle of ink. Side note, I no longer use that Noodler's ink because it felt very grainy, the ink texture, and it's not waterproof at all. So back to this pen. I like it for what I use it for, which is sketching. And I wouldn't really use it for writing, because if you want to lay down a thinner stroke, you have to hold it in a relatively high angle to achieve that. And I cannot hold it like that for long-term writing. it will not be very comfortable. But I love it for sketching. Although I don't know why the pen barrel is so long comparing to a Sailor Pro Gear Slim. It takes the standard cartridge converter, but so I don't know why there's extra space in the back. And sometimes it won't fit into the regular pen storage that I use. And another thing is it does not seal very well. I've let it sit for a couple of weeks and it had completely dried out. So keep that in mind if you are picking this up. This next one is also, I want to say, enabled by my partner. After the lamy fiasco, I've given up on fountain pens, but he had not. So he got a Pro Gear Slim in the Shikiori series in green. This is the one he got. It has a dark green color. And we both agree that this writes better for both of us, since it is a finer nib and also drier comparing to the Lamy Safari. And along with this pen, he got a bottle of platinum carbon black. I think the experience is better with bottled ink than cartridges. For some reason, cartridges never flow well for me. So after trying his pen, I was considering of getting my own Sailor. I just put it in the back of my mind for a while. And fast forward to much later, when I visited my parents in China, I finally made the purchase. I think it's mainly because the price is much better in China for Sailor fountain pens for some reason. And I decided to pick up this Pro Gear Slim from the Japanese Fairy Tale series, I believe. And this one is a dark blue pen body with gold shimmers in it. It has a medium fine nib. I like the look of it. It's quite elegant, but also a little special. And I like how versatile this pen is. I can use it in both my Hobonichi planner and my regular notebooks. So I was quite happy with my Sailor, and I used it with the black ink for several months. I feel like I'm quite used to writing with a fountain pen after a while, and that's when I started to gain more interest in other fountain pens. And I would look at different pens and inks on social media. That's when I discovered twsbi. At that time, I was still quite new into fountain pen, and I did not know anything about fountain pen nib size, and I didn't know the difference between European nibs and Japanese nibs. And I picked up this pen only for the look of it. This is the twsbi Eco in cream and rose gold, and it is a fine nib. It is a very wet and smooth nib, which is completely different from what I'm used to, which is a Sailor. It's even smoother than a lamy. And it took me a while to get used to it. After this purchase, I learned that European fine nibs are in general too wide for my liking, so I decided to go back to Japanese nibs. And I want to say this is probably when my impulsiveness got the better of me. I would talk about that later. Let's first talk about the pen. This is a Pilot E95S in the burgundy and gold colorway. I got a fine nib on this. I was very drawn to the look of this pen. I remember when I was a teenager, I used my dad's and my grandfather's fountain pens to write essays or transcribe articles. At that time, most fountain pens have those hooded nibs, much like the Parker 51. And for some reason, this inlaid nib reminds me of those vintage pens. And I couldn't pass on the burgundy and gold combination. So I purchased this. And not long after that, I purchased the Pilot Custom 823 in smoke color. This is also a fine nib. I like the weight of the Custom 823. This fine nib is so precise and yet very wet at the same time. This is also my first vacuum filling mechanism pens. And I'm still not used to the fact that you need to unscrew a little bit of the end cap before long form writing. But it is still a great pen to use. And it's also a great pen to carry if you're traveling, since the vac system will make sure the ink doesn't leak. After these two pens, I realized that Pilot Gold nibs are my favorite nibs, especially the number 15 size on the 823. I also occasionally borrow my partner's Pilot Custom 743. That one has a soft fine medium nib, which is so soft and comfortable for writing a long time. Speaking of impulse buy, after purchasing these two pens was probably when I felt like I went overboard so quickly. And I wanted to intentionally slow down a little bit. I don't remember exactly the purchasing experience for these two pens because I bought them simply based on the recommendations from online and by the look of it. Of course, I tested on the E95S at a local pen shop before buying, but I still wish that I've spent enough time to consider or just use what I currently have at that moment. So I did let my collection to stay as is for a while until I went to my first pen show. The next two pens are returning guests from my previous video, so I will try to be concise. This one is a Esterbrook Estie in sea glass with a tetra nib. Since I want to be mindful about my fountain pen purchases, I did not get this online, even though I've been eyeing this for a long time. And I watched reviews and videos online. I still restrained myself and purchased this only after I tried it in person at the Baltimore Pen Show. And I love this tetra nib for writing. I feel like it makes my handwriting look much better. And this one, although it was not a pen show purchase, I discovered my love for retractable pens at the pen show for sure. This is a Pilot Decimo in white color, and it has a fine nib. This fine nib, I have to say, is quite different from the Pilot 823 and the E95S fine nibs. It is more bouncy and soft. I guess it's because of the retractable function. The spring inside makes it, well, springy. It's perfect for writing in my Hobonichi. And I want to say these two are definitely my functional pens, my daily drivers. And the next one is more of a sentimental pen. This is a Montblanc Meister Stroke 145. This is a gift from my dad. He said it is a Chopin edition because it came with a box set with a Chopin CD in it. But on the pen itself, I don't see anything Chopin related. But fun story behind this is that several months ago, I was talking with my dad and I told him that I started collecting fountain pens. I grew interest in fountain pens, and out of a sudden, he asked me, he said, "Oh, I actually have a Montblanc and I've never used it. Do you want it?" And that's how he kindly gifted this pen to me. He actually bought this pen in 2001. That is 24 years ago. And for some reason, he never inked it up. But I guess now I started collecting fountain pens. I think I'm really lucky to have this pen, of course, especially as a gift from my father. This one is a 145, like I said. It has a two-tone nib, the number 5 nib, and it uses a cartridge converter instead of a piston filler. And when I first got it, I cherished it so much. After all, I've never thought I'd ever get a Montblanc, not to mention only several months into this hobby. I was almost afraid of using it and to break it. So that's why I don't pick up this pen that often. And I think my mindset shifted when I watched a video of a fountain pen collector sharing his gorgeous collection. He has the most luxurious pens, but he inked them up and used them regularly. Something he said really stuck with me. He said that fountain pens are meant to be used and inked, more so for the expensive pens. And I think that's probably when I decided to start using this pen more regularly, and I love it. I love writing with it, and I am no longer afraid of using it. Anyway, this is a pen that I will cherish forever. Okay, this one. This is a birthday pen. It is a Esterbrook Estie collab with the Coffee Monsters Co. And it's a birthday gift from my partner. After my first estie, I learned that I really like the shape of an estie. And the weight is not too heavy, not too light. The grip section is also suitable for my hand and my writing style. And I like the colorway. It's not too loud. The grip section material by Jonathan Brooks are the perfect amount for me. Overall, the look is quite different from the other estie designs. So I chose this as my birthday gift. I got it in a fine nib. It writes slightly finer than regular Yovo fine nibs, but it's totally fine for me. Okay, this one. This is a Sailor Pro Gear in the Cafe Creme colorway. It is a German limited edition. I have it in the medium nib. I also mentioned how I acquired this pen in my previous video, but long story short, after my Pro Gear Slim, I want to try the Pro Gear size as well, because the grip section of the Pro Gear Slim is a little bit, just a touch too thin for me. And I also want to see if I like the 21K nib or not. But as a picky person, I didn't feel drawn to any of the colors that they currently offer. And I just really love this German limited edition. But I never thought I'll get it because it is a limited edition from 3 years ago. So I just forgot about it ever since. But my partner randomly found a reseller in China with this pen, and he asked his friend to bring it back to the States and then shipped to me. It's a whole journey just to get this pen. And of course, it did not disappoint. This medium nib is what I gravitated toward more lately, and it is still inked with Robert Oster Cafe Crema, which is the perfect match. So, here they are. These are all of my fountain pens. And if we exclude this lamy, because it's not mine, it's my partner's. If we exclude the lamy, I have 10 pens right now. And I have to say I'm quite pleased with the state of my collection. I have something for daily use, for special occasions, for sentimental reasons as well. I've also gotten more conscious about purchasing pens lately. Look at my collection now. I can see that I'm definitely missing some popular brands. For example, I don't have a Kaweco. I don't have a Platinum. And I've never tried a Schmidt nib. I definitely want to try more custom grinds. But I've gotten more conscious about purchasing them. My wish list is very long, but I am waiting for the special occasion to pick them up. I'm not talking about sales or discount. I'm talking about special occasions in life. And I don't feel the rush to get another one just yet. I want to spend more time with what I currently own and play around with different ink and pen combinations, different ways of using them. Speaking of which, I watched a video by Helena from the Tiny Tiger Co. where she talked about the 10 things she wished she'd known before collecting fountain pens. And I felt very resonated with that video, and I wish someone could told me those when I first began my journey. So I highly recommend you check that out. That being said, I'm going to the DC pen show this weekend, and I need to restrain myself. And I've made a checklist of pens and brands that I want to see in person and test out, but nothing is a must-buy for me now. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed taking a closer look at each of my pens and hear me talk about some backstories behind them. It truly has become a passion for me, and I am happy to get to share with all of you. What about you? Let me know your favorite fountain pens in your collection. What pens are on your wish list? Let me know in the comments below. Hope you enjoy the video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.